From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, September 10th. Mostly sunny skies today, warmer afternoon after a cool start to the day. Expect some highs in the 70s to low 80s. The nation's second largest school system is mandating vaccines for all students 12 and older. The Los Angeles Unified School Board made the decision during a special meeting last night. All eligible students have until the end of this calendar year to be fully vaccinated. So those who participate in extracurricular activities, though, like sports, will have to get their shots earlier and be vaccinated by October 31st. This morning, the interim superintendent says the decision came following a lot of thought.
We know that there is hesitancy out there and people have concerns about it. And so, again, making sure that the science was very sound and just overwhelmingly compelling on doing this as the right move.
The district serves more than 600,000 students. There is already a vaccine mandate in place for teachers and staff. And this morning, the legal and political ramifications are coming into focus after President Biden orders a COVID-19 vaccine mandate that may affect up to 100 million Americans. People are weighing in from Monument Circle to the State House and Capitol Hill. Overnight, the Republican National Committee announced that it will sue. GOP Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel shared a statement saying, "Like many Americans, I am pro-vaccine and anti-mandate. Many small businesses and workers who do not have the money or legal resources to fight Biden's unconstitutional actions." And this morning, we're hearing from Indiana's Attorney General Todd Rokita says his team is reviewing all legal action on how to stand against the president's plan. The plan calls for all federal workers to get vaccinated with limited exceptions. Companies with 100 or more workers must also require the shot or weekly testing.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. So please do the right thing.
News 8's Demi Johnson went downtown after Biden's announcement to find out just how many different views there are on the topic.
We can and we will turn the tide on COVID-19.
For that to happen, President Biden says more people must get vaccinated. His solution, mandates for companies with 100 or more employees or weekly COVID-19 testing. Back here in Indiana, there's mixed reaction on Monument Circle.
I don't agree with that decision. I don't think it's right.
I think people will just have to get over that and do what's best for the community.
Ashton Coxon says the pandemic has gone on too long.
I think it's important so we can just help the community so we don't have to go down to like a shutdown like last year if everyone's vaccinated.
But Chad Van Dozen believes no one should do something they're not comfortable with.
I believe everybody should make that decision on their own. And I really think that it'll just make matters worse in the long run. I think it will turn people away from their workplaces if that is mandated.
For Ken Mills, it's about finding common ground, something he says the president can't control.
I think we care for each other. We want to figure out a way out of this whole thing, but we're fighting the wrong battle. And somehow we got to come to terms with that whole thing. I don't think the president mandating is really going to make a difference.
And Melanie says if the president doesn't take action, no one will.
I think it's just the best way to prevent health issues. I think people need to take it more seriously, and I think people are not taking it seriously.
The president is also calling on sports and entertainment venues to help by requiring proof of vaccination or a negative test result to enter.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And Wish TV's medical expert and former Surgeon General says he agrees with the president's announcement. Dr. Jerome Adams has a message for businesses that will be affected by the order.
And to anyone who is a manager or in the executive offices of a workplace, we need to make sure we're getting people's questions answered. It's not just about saying you're going to do it. It's about helping people get their questions answered so that hopefully they're doing it, and they're doing it because they realize it helps them and it helps their community.
Dr. Adams adds he believes pushing businesses to require vaccinations will encourage more people to get the shot. And this morning, we're hearing from Indiana Senator Mike Braun. The Republican released a statement saying Biden was, in his words, desperately overstepping his authority with the vaccine mandates for private businesses that violate the individual liberty this country was built on. There is strong pushback from the GOP. Several governors shared their disapproval overnight. Asa Hutchinson in Arkansas says he fully supports efforts to increase vaccination rates, but mandates are not the right answer. South Carolina's Governor Henry McMaster claims that the American dream has turned into a nightmare. As of this morning, we've not heard from Governor Holcomb. And a sold-out crowd will fill Lucas Oil Stadium on Sunday for the Colts season opener. Some question the safety of 67,000 fans shoulder to shoulder as COVID spreads. Last night's NFL opener in Tampa was packed with fans willing to take that risk, as were several college games last weekend. The CDC does not specifically have guidance about sporting events, but doesn't recommend attending large gatherings and says if you still go, to consider wearing a mask and get the COVID-19 vaccine. Right now, about 54% of eligible people in Indiana are fully vaccinated. That's about 3.1 million people. There's more women than men with the shot, and age-wise, the highest numbers in the age groups over 55. Average COVID cases have been dropping slightly since the start of the month, but most counties in the state are still considered a high transmission zone. Several health experts say now is not the time to go back to big crowds. Here's Dr. Anthony Fauci.
No, I don't think it's smart. I think when you're dealing particularly outdoors is always better than indoors, but even when you have such a congregate setting of people close together, first you should be vaccinated. And when you do have congregate settings, particularly indoors, you should be wearing a mask.
Dr. Fauci believes there's a responsible way to cheer on sports teams. He's said several times colleges and venues are requiring the vaccine to attend. He says that's one of the safest ways to do it. Louisiana State University is one requiring a vaccine or a negative COVID test to attend. And we know schools like IU and IUPUI are requiring all students and staff to have the vaccine. Venues have rules too. Lucas Oil recommends masks and won't offer a health screening like a temperature check when you walk in the door. There's a large COVID-19 risk warning posted to its website saying guests voluntarily assume the risk of the virus that could result in injury or death. If you're still going to the game, guidelines would indicate that tailgating outdoors with a few friends is one of the safer things to do, while hugging and high-fiving neighbors in the stadium or walking through crowded concourses would be the most risky. Game time is 1 p.m. this Sunday. And this morning, a North Central High School student is under arrest accused of stabbing a classmate. 18-year-old Wyatt Maxey is now facing attempted murder and aggravated battery charges. IMPD says the injured 17-year-old student was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Investigators believe it all started as a fight on social media that led to an argument at the high school, then the stabbing. The Marion County prosecutor will now make a final charging decision. We should learn new details today about a triple homicide in Boone County. Lebanon police tell News 8 they'll give an update on the investigation sometime today. Larry Stogsdill, his son Brandon Martin, and Martin's girlfriend Grace Bishop were found dead Wednesday evening inside an apartment on East Walnut Street. Police say none of the victims is listed on the apartment's lease. People living nearby say police have responded to the building several times in the past couple of months.
Used to be when you say where you live, they go, oh, you live near the Roach Motel, you live near the drug apartments. But now it's going to be, you live where the people died. And it's just awful to have that remark or, have that stigma in your own yard.
Police have not released information on any possible suspects. Today, organizations and departments across central Indiana are marking the 20th year since the September 11th terror attacks. Mount Vernon School Corporation is hosting a display from students. Organizers say a military color guard and the high school band and choir will have a moment of silence and a display of unity. Starts at exactly 9:11 this morning at the Mount Vernon High School Stadium. IMPD is hosting a blood drive this afternoon as well. You can donate to the IMPD East District headquarters on North Shadeland Avenue from noon to 6. And one Indiana man's memories of 9/11 come from 730 miles from home and 35 floors high in the North Tower of the World Trade Center. News 8's Alexis Rogers spoke with him as Wish TV looks back 20 years later.
9/11, that date hits home for so many, for some more than others. There were first responders, there were people who watched it unfold on TV, and then there were those who were actually in the tower when the planes hit. Terrence Fuqua, a Hoosier who had traveled to New York for work, was one of them.
I was on the North Tower of the World Trade Center on the 35th floor. You can't see the building, but it sways. I actually thought it was an earthquake at first because ceiling tiles were falling out of the ceiling, and the lights were flickering. I remember praying. Actually, I saw the fireball, and that's when I started praying. People were rushing to the stairwells.
He explains how the scene was not like what you might see in the movies.
It was calm and orderly. People were not yelling, screaming. I could talk like I'm talking to you and be heard. And because we kept asking, what happened? And a lady shared that a plane had hit the building. Of course, I'm thinking a small passenger plane, similar to like a Cessna. I had no idea it was a major airline.
Though he was concerned for his life, that did not stop him and his coworker from checking on others who needed help.
Alan, who was got to a point where he stopped to help a lady who was just stopped. And they were a little to the side, so people were passing them. And as a matter of fact, people were passing them as if they were invisible. But Alan stopped, and once I saw him, I went over and see if I could be of assistance. So anyway, Alan's older than I am, so I told him I could take care and that he should get down because I was able to move faster than him. The older lady was tired or winded. She just didn't want to move. I kept telling the older lady I wasn't going to leave her either. At some point, I don't know if she saw my wedding band. I remember her grabbing my hand and told me I was a young man and that I needed to leave. So eventually, she convinced me, and I had to take some deep breaths.
He followed her request. Outside, the scene chaotic, with everyone running about and images he can never unsee.
Unfortunately, we got to see people jumping from higher up.
As for the woman he helped, Fuqua refers to now as Rachel. He's not sure if she made it out alive, but hopes she did. The memory still haunts him at times.
I didn't get her out, and it's still haunts me somewhat that I don't know if she survived or not.
Many lives were lost on that day, but one thing sticks out in his mind.
9/11 was a horrific event, but in hindsight, and I'm telling the young people this, it was the last time, in my opinion, that Americans was extremely close. I hate it was such a tragedy, but we came together after that. Americans actually loved Americans.
That was Alexis Rogers reporting. Tonight, on our own Phil Sanchez, a native New Yorker, will share his memories of 9/11. The U.S. Justice Department has filed a lawsuit targeting the new limits on abortion in Texas. The federal government wants a federal judge to throw out the new state law that essentially bans abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. Attorney General Merrick Garland says Texas lawmakers passed the law in open defiance of the U.S. Constitution.
This leaves women in Texas unable to exercise their constitutional rights and unable to obtain judicial review at the very moment they need it. This kind of scheme to nullify the Constitution of the United States is one that all Americans, whatever their politics or party, should fear.
The Supreme Court justices ruled last week that the law can take effect, but did not say whether it's constitutional. And in Indiana, several abortion laws are back in effect. A federal appeals court overturned the court's decision to throw restrictions out. The laws ban telemedicine consultations between doctors and women seeking abortions. There is a ban on second trimester abortions outside of hospitals or surgery centers. And Indiana requires in-person exams by a doctor before drug-induced abortions are performed. Today, a chance to land a job in stores or restaurants housed by Simon Property Group. The Indianapolis-based company is hosting the first of a 2-day hiring event. Simon is promoting that more than 100 employers are looking for full and part-time workers. The job fair today runs from 10 to 9. You can apply in person at either the Castleton Square Mall or the Fashion Mall at Keystone. Also today, the Zionsville Fall Festival kicks off. It starts at 2 this afternoon at Lions Club Park. Organizers say today is a VIP carnival for families with special needs. Tomorrow, a parade steps off at 10 in the morning from Zionsville High School. A car show is planned for Sunday. That event's free. Parking inside Lions Park is $8. And the season is down to a fever pitch for the Indy 11 in a 10-game stretch that will decide if they make the playoffs. They're back at Carroll Stadium tomorrow hosting Sporting KC 2. You can watch it from the first kick starting at 7 o'clock. And to business headlines, UPS says it plans to hire more than 100,000 people for the busy holiday shipping season, many of whom will get job offers within 30 minutes of applying. UPS needs to snap up workers as fast as it can because of the tight job market. UPS said it pays between $15 and $22 an hour, depending on where in the country the job is. Amazon will fully fund college tuition for over 750,000 of its frontline employees. It plans to spend about $1.2 billion in the next 4 years on its U.S. employees, funding full college tuition and high school diplomas, including English proficiency certifications as well as upskilling programs. Target and Walmart also offer with employees tuition. The Food and Drug Administration said it will need more time before deciding on whether to pull Juul's e-cigarettes from the market in the United States. The agency said Thursday that it has made decisions on more than 90% of the new tobacco products that were submitted for review, but it will need more time to complete its review of the remaining products, including the prolific Juul e-cigarettes. Wells Fargo was hit with a $250 million fine from a banking regulator after it failed to properly execute a mortgage loss mitigation program. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency said that the bank engaged in unsafe or unsound practices. Wells Fargo has paid more than $4 billion in penalties since its 2016 fake accounts scandal was uncovered. Burger King is banning 120 artificial ingredients from menus, which includes high fructose corn syrup and several food dyes. The move is a continuation of an earlier strategy to publicly distance Burger King from artificial dyes and preservatives, including a 2020 ad campaign featuring a time lapse of a Whopper growing old and moldy over time, something competitors don't do. This has been your News 8 Daily for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.